What's happening, bro?
How we doing, man?
Another day, another day in paradise, another day. So we
Yeah,
just
any day on
completed,
this.
we just completed our, we just completed our 5-day challenge, man, with the Built to Move challenge, man, helping businesses start to incorporate departments or different agents inside their business, man, so they can actually have things offloaded. It's kind of interesting, the more you talk to individuals, man, who are spending a great deal of money on tools like for AI, different things because they look shiny, new. And you notice that a lot of these people who are shiny using shiny new, they're not even using it to their benefit. So they just go to the next tool, hope it get them closer. What was your big takeaway, man, from this actual workshop, man?
Oh man, it was great. I think my biggest takeaway, and one of the things, and this just shows you, I'm a big kid. That the biggest takeaway is how easily adaptive the analogy that we carried over from the webinar to obviously that just became a part of our language. The Blockbuster, Redbox, Netflix analogy, how applicable it is and how easily the people in the challenge adapted it in regards to identifying with where they were in their AI journey and their situation and where they wanted to go and how they get from one place to another and really understanding the way that those three individual businesses experiences will be watching whatever. And it's the same with books and with music, how easily they can identify the different pieces of their business that put them in that respective stage and use it as a means to really lessen the jargon that's used in the conversation so that it's an easier conversation for both them to participate in without being intimidated and for them to articulate where they are and what their desires are. I think for
Yeah, I
me
think
that
that
was
that's good. That was shocking when I asked someone, they started to self segment themselves by calling themselves, "Oh, yeah, I'm a Netflix or I'm a Blockbuster." I think that makes this whole experience to normalize it because it can be very overwhelming. And it's oftentimes that, when you talk to somebody who's buying tools, like, yeah, I got it. I know AI. I got this. And then when you start talking technical, oh, hold on now. You back up now. I don't know it like that. And I think that when you could say something like, I'm more like Netflix and with this AI thing, like I know where to go. No, not Netflix, Redbox. I'm more like Redbox. I know where to go. I know where to
right.
put my hands on it, but I'm not really 100% sure if I'm doing this thing right.
Uh-huh. I think the great thing too about that whole Redbox Netflix thing is if you think about it, Redbox started to recommend videos too before Netflix came about. So there were aspects of AI sprinkled into Redbox before Netflix completely took over. And there's still a few Redboxes around, just like there's a bunch of people that are still in that stage of AI because they don't know that the Netflix level exists or don't even know what that level is where things are happening autonomously. And then as we talk to them about what happens next after the workshop or what the capabilities are in regards to, obviously we showed them the things that we showed them in the webinar or workshop on a week to week basis. And we will continue to do that. But to talk them through how we use it on a day to day basis and to see eyes light up and the comments in the chat in regards to their desire to just have those things and just know that they're not far away. Kind of like when we were watching Dick Tracy as little kids, thinking that the Apple Watch was eons and eons away, and now we're using it to do everything from dictate what we eat to wake up in the morning. So
Yeah, that's
that
good.
close.
Yeah, that's good. I think for me, I think the biggest takeaway for me is how many people are on different journeys on this experience.
Mm,
Like it's been out for some time and some probably feel more mature than others. So it kind of gets me to believing that there are some people who are even in it on a regular basis still feel behind. And there's people who haven't touched it yet as if it's just going to kind of go away. They're behind. And then those who are probably more further ahead than someone else has you want to be like, all right, get me to the next thing. I want to get to the next thing so I can, further advance my situation. But I would say is realizing that as much information and access that we have out here, I can say confidently that not even a full 1% of the population is aware. So if someone is still feeling like, how do I get in the game, or I'm so far behind, you're not. It's almost like you're just pulling up to the table and just identifying where you need to actually solve your problem, man. Like where can you actually best utilize this thing? So that's kind of thing I took away from it. Is just how, it's different people on the tracks, all shooting for the same, in most cases, same outcome, which is either more exposure, better opportunities, and releasing a lot of their time. And I see this so often that some people running, some people crawling, some people walking, and that to me is really surprising.
Yeah, I think to that point, it speaks to. I know we oversimplify it into three levels: the Blockbuster, the Redbox, and the Netflix. But as we spoke, or as we listened, I should say, to realize how many levels there are within the levels, the things that people know, the things that people have access to, and the things that honestly they're missing. And a lot of times it's just like anything else that I've done, and I do the same thing on the infinite banking side, is that it's really a puzzle, and there's only so many different pieces to the puzzle, but for the most part everybody's puzzle has the same pieces, so to speak. Somebody may be missing an edge piece here, somebody may be missing a middle piece here, somebody missing a corner piece here. And it really is about finding that and then tying it all together. And I think one of the things that I realized as we listen to them and talk to them about how we can stand them up, the things that they're trying to accomplish in the transition, is how easily you can increase someone's capacity
Mm.
by integrating just a few tools. And then really the approach of not having them go down the path that most people are going down, is discovering tools, trying tools out, trying to figure out how it promotes their business, and really just taking a snapshot of their business and then wrapping the tools, so to speak, and the tech around their business so that they can relinquish that almost entirely and just focus on showing up as them and letting the tools react off of them or go off of what they're doing and enhancing where they are.
Yeah, man, I think that's good. That's good, man. I think another thing that I gathered from it, that when you have people who sign up for things, how much life dictates what they do, the choice or the decision that they make. Like when you're looking for relief, but yet you continue to keep getting distracted. Now we all know when you have some things, it's hard to be committed to anything for at least 5 days, let alone, I mean, I get it, but when you recognize, like, hold on, you mean to tell me I personally can have something that can really take a lot of this load, this lift off? Well, let me wait. I can't do it right now, though, man. I got to go do this over here. I'm super swamped. And you be like, we're trying to solve that, right? Like, you know that we're trying to take that off your plate. So I wonder, is it fear? Is it uncertainty? Is it not being honest that you really feel like as long as I'm being busy, I'm productive? Like as long as I feel like I'm accomplishing, really want to know how it really is. I would love to hear your thoughts on that. Like when people need help, but they can't get out their own way. And I'm just curious, is that just out of confusion, or is that out of using it as a justification not to change? It just sounds good, like they want to change, but they not really want their environment to change because they rather know the devil to know the devil that you know than actually know the devil that you don't. Just what's your thoughts around that?
Yeah, I think that's a great way to put it, as a devil you know, because when as you said it, and I started to think through how I was going to respond, the first thing that came to mind is just comfortable in the chaos. And I don't think that the problem that we're solving, or that we're proposing to help them solve, is a new problem. It's a new pain point. It's something that they've been experiencing for some time. It's just that historically it's been so challenging to find a viable solution that you can integrate into your business without putting things down, because before now, you did have to stop to
Yeah,
start. So you did have to have that cushion
yeah,
to implement something that will propel you forward. That's where the whole 2 steps forward, 2 steps back thing comes in. So you got to take a couple steps back to catapult forward, is
yeah.
something that I've a number of times in business. And now you don't have to, because it truly is just integrated, and you can pick up tomorrow business as usual and just start to see things lifted off of your plate, see the weight get lighter, and just see things happening that you would have to go back to your desk for, or that you would have to spend time copying from here, pasting there, then taking that information from here and looking this up to complete. And now that's just not the case. We can wrap it around the things that you say. For instance, when you're out on a job site or when you're in a meeting or when you're having a conversation, and just have those things kick off the email or the proposal generation or whatever it may be, the invite, sending over the files, all those things can happen without you going back to your desk. So you can get in your car and go to the next meeting and not have to figure out who said what throughout the course of the day if you've had 3 or 4 meetings, because all of it is processed in real time and executed in most cases. And if it's not executed, it's lobbed to you. I mean,
Yeah.
everybody likes a good alley oop. That's what Sports Center is built on. So why not incorporate that into everyday life?
Yeah, that's good. I think I'd like to know, like, one of the things that really kind of also kind of stood out this week, man, as we kind of wrap this up, man, and I think it's really interesting on the state of it's like I look at people in the sense of like the world is just moving, like everybody's just busy, like being busy. Like we have more at our fingertips now than we've ever had, and we're just so much more busy. Busy enough that we probably don't spend time with the people we want to. We probably don't call and talk, man. We text, send emojis. Hey, listen, these young people, man, this is how they get numbers now. Like, let me get your Instagram. Like, not your number. Let me get your Instagram. Like, that's direct access. Like, and I feel like, sometimes having conversations about I'm looking to leverage AI so I can be more present, so I can have more meaningful events that occur in my life that are more valuable to me. And I think there's this dichotomy of young people are using technology in a way to take them away from more meaningful experiences live. It's like, let's live this world through this internet. And then you have those who are kind of like sitting on the sidelines, like, I don't know what to think of any of this shit. Matter of fact, Facebook is it for me. That's all I know my peoples. I can block them. I can I can take a text message. I can put a video up and I can walk away. And I feel like and then when you talk to people, I talk to a lot of people, but when I talk to business owners, like I today talked to a business owner and he said to me, he was like, I really don't need that, but right now, man, I'm all over the place. And he said, man, I got so much work. I really ain't got that much work, but I got so much work and got so much time. Man, can we talk at the end of the month? And I'm like, well, you're talking to the right person. So what do you mean? I said, because I help businesses get them hours back. I give people 8 hours back per week. That's the goal. And he said, really? And he kept trying, at first he was trying to get off the phone, and then he kept asking me more and more questions. And I was like, do you still really want to wait to the end of the month? Well, that's when I'm gonna be on vacation. It's kind of like when somebody say, listen, Monday, I'm starting Monday. I'm gonna eat, I'm had this cheat day. You know what I'm saying? I'm gonna I'm gonna get in the gym on Monday. I'm gonna eat everything I can until Monday. And it's like Tony Robbins was right, man. People would do everything they can to avoid pain than to actually gain pleasure. Like we don't make decisions off of pleasure as much as we think we do. We make decisions based off avoiding pain. And I think that that's a really interesting perspective on if I'm bleeding right now, I'm not waiting 2 weeks to get a band-aid. I'm going to try to stop the bleeding. But I don't think people look at solving solutions that way. Now, I'm just interested in the line of work that you in, especially on the financial side. Do you see that often?
Yeah, and I think that, and that's why a lot of my analogies are what they are. It's always after I get through this tax season or when I get my income taxes back or next
Yeah,
paycheck and it's weird because just like the whole 2 steps forward, 2 steps back thing, it coincides with the whole tomorrow's not promised analogy. But we don't like we say that, but nobody lives like tomorrow's not promised, or the life
yeah,
insurance conversation wouldn't even be a conversation because
right.
that's exactly what it's there for, is in case it's not promised. So I see it on both sides of the coin, both in Eckroff and in Hidden Gems, and people again comfortable in the chaos. They're comfortable in the paycheck to paycheck, in the constant moving of the goalposts in regards to their finances, just like they are here in regards to their business and the freedom, the work life balance that they said that they wanted. That's, I don't want to say it's easier to attain, but it's it's more feasible to attain it now than it ever has been. And I think the last thing I say is, you said that young people are using tech to get away from the interaction. And I think for a while now, we've been leaning on the fact or leaning on the understanding that humanity and the human touch is going to and is quickly becoming a commodity. I mean, I think we
Yeah.
saw it with people being fed up with automated systems just by just the prompts when you had to call your bank to push the prompts to get to a live person. And it's only evolved from there. But human touch is is the commodity at this
Yeah.
point. And the more that you can integrate tools and resources into your business so that you can find more places to implement human touch, the better off you'll be and the more that you'll separate yourself from the competition. And that's really all we're saying when we talk about giving you 8 hours back a week is so that you can use 3 of them to show up in your business as yourself and not be stuck behind the admin and the other 5 to toward that work life balance to spend time with the people that you built it for because they've been suffering long enough.
Yeah, that's good, bro. I think that that's interesting. The the human side of relationships becoming a commodity. And it's almost like many years ago, trading of goods was like the thing. And the value add, like I'm also seeing that organic images, natural images are doing and ranking way better than AI created content or
Hmm.
polished videos. Like
Hmm.
and so I think the allure is that people are going to always go back to who they really are at its core. They like newness, but realistically, they go with something they can naturally connect with on a regular basis. And I think a lot of young people, and especially in the space of using technology, they find themselves in weird positions where you hear them unaliving themselves. They're isolating, standing off, but yet they're so surrounded through social media with so many people, but it's not really as good as a touch. It's not really good as an intimate conversation. And I think ultimately the same goes for people with business. Like the more intentional you get one customer, you just duplicate that process. It's like, well, if somebody come into your world, why not send a video saying, I really appreciate our conversation today. I really hope these are the things that we spoke about. Here are some suggested value adds that I think that would be beneficial for you and your consumers, and walk away. That's a way more value. This person took time to send me a video. I think that person may necessarily want to connect. I more likely want to deal with this person than somebody over here that I may think that can help me. And each time I think that is the genius that you mix with technology. That's the genius that you mix with AI is now you have the ability to be more personal. At first you couldn't. Like, I gotta take care of this, I gotta do this, I gotta run him. Listen, not a ginger thing, but I gotta take him, I gotta take them, I gotta do all these things. So I don't have time to follow up. I don't have time, I forgot, or I need to make these sales calls, or I need to train my people. I need to be present. And I can't do those things. Like I'm so constantly bombarded by all these things that you forget that this right here, this lift, a person still needs you to come and listen to them. Right? Especially a staff. Like they really want to hear you, feel like you care, just like your
Hmm.
customer do. And if you don't make time for it and replacing it with technology, you won't get better returns. B had told me that there was a prospect that she's working with that she's constantly on top of the staff, and she's about numbers, 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 numbers. And as a result of her being these numbers, she's having a high level of turnover, and she makes her presence felt in these meetings. And I thought it was really interesting that the business itself has a mission that you have to have a heart to be a part of. And I told her, I said, and I'm not making this a race thing, but there's a culture of individuals that's never been exposed to good leadership and recognize because you wear the hat actually makes you the servant. And somehow we wear these hats in a way that we sitting up here like we on this throne, and because we cutting checks, we don't serve. If you are responsible for people's livelihood, I can tell you right now, that's a total different weight that you carry and you burden than just collecting money. And, I think that what we want to do, what I believe, and you can see this in through our process too when helping people, is that she's carrying all the information in here and not letting those people empower in the roles that she hired them for. She's trying to carbon copy who she is.
Hmm.
And and honestly, we see this as a gap for a lot of organizations. And I think that that's an ongoing thing that I don't know if it would change because of what entrepreneurship or ownership or leadership has been presented in over the years.
Yeah. No, I agree.
But
I mean, if any of this makes sense or is resonating or something that you want to hear more about, definitely jump in on Wednesday. Join us for the webinar at 1 o'clock every Wednesday. You can also DM us to Ray D Young, Wayne Runs on Instagram. You can find us both on LinkedIn to Ray D Young, Wayne M. Carr, Facebook the same. All the channels are open. We're just here to help. If we can help simplify the conversation, give you some insight into your business, you could even just go to the website and dive into the brain map, take the assessment, take you less than 5 minutes. It'll give you an in-depth analysis of your business to determine whether or not you want to continue the conversation. Also give you some insight that you can take and move forward with without even touching us, without even talking to us. That's just one of the things that we wanted to make sure that you had access to that level of insight and the opportunity to infuse that intelligence as you see fit. And if there's anything that we can do to help, don't hesitate to reach out.
absolutely. It's a pleasure, G.
Always a pleasure.
All right, I gotta get going.